When it was announced that Blue Mountain Mystery would be the last Thomas-related thing that Sharon Miller would write, every Thomas fan was pleased for it. Her reign of terror was over, everybody said. The show could probably go back to its original roots, they said. Well, okay, only I said that, but I'm sure everybody else was thinking that. So, what are my opinions of Sharon Miller's last ever Thomas the Tank Engine project? Well, I'll explain that in a minute. So what's the story? It's a busy day at the Blue Mountain Quarry, which was never seen in the past few series until this special. And Thomas is helping collect slate with the now gauge engines, minus Duncan and Duke. Yeah, it was at that time that Duncan mysteriously disappeared. And there wasn't exactly an explanation given for it. Anyway, Thomas spends the day working hard with his now engaged friends. When evening arrives, Thomas takes his trucks to Brendan Docks and returns to Timber Sheds for the night. The next morning, Thomas is shunting trucks in the quarry when a mysterious green engine darts from a tunnel. Thomas introduces himself, but the little green engine does not reply and quickly rattles into another tunnel. Thomas asks the narrow gauge engines who the green engine is, but they all tell him Porcupine. But eventually a little accident reveals that the engine's name is Luke. And when Thomas hears the conversation and asks them who Luke is, Scarlowy decides to tell Thomas since they're friends. Scarlowy tells Thomas that a long time ago Luke did something very bad and he thinks that if anyone finds him, he'll be sent away from Sodor forever. And because Thomas is Scarlowy's friend, he promises to keep it a secret. So the next morning, the Blue Mountain Quarry is very busy. Rocky is moving stones from the bridge, and Thomas arrives to find Renee is complaining to Scarlowy about needing a new coat of paint after his accident. And Thomas tries to become friends with Luke, who is very shy about anyone else seeing him besides the narrow gauge engines. But as soon as Luke gets to know Thomas, the two become very good friends. But when Diesel and Paxton start poking their noses around, Luke starts to hide again, thinking that they'll tell the Fat Controller about him. And the rest of the film is just Thomas trying to find out what Luke did in the past that makes him think that he'll be sent away for good, and trying to keep Diesel from poking his nose in and telling the Fat Controller to send him away for good. So yeah, what did I think of Sharon Miller's last ever Thomas script? It was better than all her other scripts, minus Day of the Diesels. I mean, for her last feature-length special, as well as her last ever Thomas project, this was actually pretty decent. I mean, we got CGI flashbacks of the original series. Wow, who'd have guessed that Sharon Miller would actually do flashbacks from the original series in CGI? Though it was a good call for her since it was her last ever project. And it is nice to see all the narrow gauge engines again. And I really do like how they sound Welsh, which is understandable since they're based off of Welsh engines. And Luke is a pretty interesting character. He's got a very interesting backstory. And we even find out that Victor has an interesting backstory too. But I won't dare spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen this film yet. But I will say this. The actor David Beddoller, who voices Victor from Hero of the Whales onwards in the US, and Blue Mountain Mystery onwards in the UK, has damn good Spanish-speaking skills.
Hola! ¿A dónde vas? ¿Vas a Sodor?
So yeah, this is a really great special again. But I do have a few minor nitpicks with this film. Like, where the hell are Duncan and Duke? I mean, we know that Duke has disappeared after Series 5 and was never seen again. And we know that Duncan has recently disappeared in Series 16, but we never get an explanation for why. What the hell's Duncan? Why wasn't he in this special? Why? And the other nitpick I have is that when they do the flashback of the sad story of Henry, you can clearly tell that Henry's still in his new shape when he's supposed to be in his old shape. I mean, you really couldn't have animated Henry in his old shape for this one minor flashback? Come on guys, at least let us know you're trying. But like I said, this is just nitpicking and it doesn't come close to ruining this special for what it is. And like the Great Discovery and Misty Island Rescue, this special required no villain. Well, unless you count Devious Diesel. But yeah, come on, Devious Diesel is just being himself. So yeah, this special has no major villains except for Diesel, but it doesn't really need it. It's a story that doesn't require a major villain. So it's a really good special for Sharon Miller's last ever Thomas related project. So yeah, even though it's a great special, it doesn't really come close to making up for Sharon Miller's other bad scripts, and yeah, I'd be lying if I said it did. So besides the little nitpicks, this is a really good special, unlike that other special! And if you think this special was good, wait till you see the last special I'm going to review. I guarantee you that it will be 1,000 times better than this one.